Hey guys, in this video I'm going to show you how to use vanishing points and perspective to draw cubes and potentially anything else you want. So with this, I'm going to drag out a few perspective lines from a vanishing point. So one point you draw it, and then all the lines point towards that vanishing point, okay? And then we use the perspective lines to draw maybe, as I've done here, vertical lines and horizontal lines. And you just kind of make sure you follow those lines so you get that perspective correct. So initially I'm going to draw it not following the lines to show you how it would look. If you look at it now, it just doesn't look right, especially that last corner. It's just a little bit off and it makes the cube look strange. So now I'm rubbing it off, and then I'm going to redraw it correctly for you to have a look at what the difference would be, or how the difference would look. And then now you can see it's a little bit better, it lined up properly. I'm gonna strengthen those lines, and then you can have a look. So using this, you can draw roads, you can draw long distances and short distances and things like that. And you can change the size of different items on your drawing based on those perspective lines, and it should give you a more realistic view of whatever you draw. So the goal here ultimately is just to kind of use that point and then expand from it. So vanishing points, you can draw more than one. So we're gonna move to 2 vanishing points, so 2-point perspective. And then this 2-point perspective, we can use it to just kind of look at it in a more realistic view, because things aren't from one point, you know, like it's not always from one point perspective. Once, like, we're gonna draw another cube here. As you can see, we're bringing out from the vanishing points, we're bringing out perspective lines, and I'll continue to do that. My rule is a bit short, but I'll just keep expanding these lines further, and then I'll draw another cube. And with this cube, you're gonna see it actually looks a little bit different. It looks like it's a more realistic view of you looking down at a cube while you're standing or something like that. So yeah, just expanding my perspective lines here. And similarly to what we did with the 1-point perspective, we're gonna use these perspective lines and draw vertical lines. And then we'll also, in this scenario, we won't be drawing horizontal lines, but we'll be using the perspective lines themselves as lines for our cube. So you can see we're looking at this cube from the top, from the side. It's angled, but it's not just kind of vanishing into the distance. It's more like right there in front of us. It's closer to us. Yeah, it feels more 3D. So yeah, that's what the 2-point perspective does. And then with this, you can draw cityscapes, you can draw all kinds of stuff. So like a car driving by and other things too. So now we'll be using the 3-point perspective. This is very similar to the 2-point perspective. But in this scenario, you have 3 different guidelines. So 3 different points where you can utilize to draw things. So you've got that lower one, okay? So I've labeled it vanishing point 3. I have vanishing point 1, and then vanishing point 2 is on the right. And then you use all these lines to guide you to draw the cube in this scenario. So in previous scenarios, I drew some vertical lines, some horizontal lines. In this one, we're purely using the perspective lines that are coming out of these vanishing points to draw our cube. So it's gonna be completely guided by the vanishing point and the perspective lines, this drawing, as opposed to with our previous drawings where we've used vertical lines and horizontal lines to kind of guide us. So here I was just testing, so I drew additional perspective lines to kind of make it line up properly. You can draw as many as you like in terms of perspective lines. You just need to make sure it always goes back to the vanishing point. So that's very important to keep it lined up properly, to keep it more realistic, and to produce one effect across the board. So here I'm drawing a cube, but if you're drawing a city, or if you're drawing animals, or whatever you're drawing, trees, whatever it might be, you need to follow the guidance of the perspective lines just to make sure everything works in the same way for your drawing. So I'm rubbing off the lines now, just to kind of give you an idea of how the drawing looks without the lines, without the guidance lines or perspective lines. And then it looks great. It's very 3D dimensional. So just to utilize some of the skills we've learned in this video, we're going to be using the 2-point perspective to draw a simple cityscape. And you can just I'm doing this just to show you how you can utilize for example the 2-point perspective to draw, or any other type of perspective. And yeah, enjoy.